up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. Today doing the What's Next on George Kambosos Jr. following his upset 12-round split decision victory over Teofimo Lopez. And really what could go down as fight of the year. Kambosos went in there and, after a first round where, first off, there was a lot of postponements in this fight. It took damn near almost a year to get the fight made and done and finally happened. And there was just a lot of shit talking on both sides. The week of the presser, the presser, the fathers got into it, so it became a very personal rivalry. And Lopez wanted to go in there and just get Kambosos out of there right away. And it looked like he had him. He might be able to do that, as he was really landing some good shots and overwhelming Kambosos. And then Kambosos landed a great counter right hand that dropped Lopez in that first round. And really from there, Kambosos showed that he was not going to get bullied in that ring by Lopez, and ended up being a very good fight. I just felt like Kambosos outworked him a little more, but in the 10th round, it was close, and Lopez was coming on, and he knocked Kambosos down, and it looked like, okay, finally, he was going to end this fight. And then in the 12th, or the 11th and 12th round, here he comes back and wins both rounds. Kambosos, that got him that split decision, as he became the new unified or undisputed lightweight champion of the world, whatever your distinction of that might be. And so with that win, Kambosos is really in the driver's seat of the division. So now the big question is, what's next for George Kambosos Jr. following that win? Well, he's now the number one fighter at lightweight, in my opinion. He's earned that by beating the previous number one, and now he has, at the very least 3.5 of the 4 world titles. And heading into his next fight, what does he do? So let's run through the top 10. Number 2 is Teofimo Lopez. Kambosos offered Lopez a rematch in the ring. When Lopez came in crying like a little bitch that he was robbed, and he won 11 rounds to 2, which is 13 rounds, and they only fought 12. But anyways, he won. He felt like he won the fight. Kambosos offered him right there. He said, "Hey, let's go down and fight in Australia. We'll do it again." And Lopez just doesn't seem interested. His dad said he kept him at lightweight for too long, and that they're going to be moving up to junior welterweight, which is 140, to fight there. And they don't seem interested in a rematch. I don't think Lopez wants a rematch at 135. I think he's done with it. But until he schedules his next fight, I still have him ranked at lightweight. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't see a rematch between Kambosos and Lopez happening. Number 3 is Vasily Lomachenko, which I don't think that one's going to happen next. I think Loma would want the fight, and he'd be down. But I think Kambosos is more focused on fighting Devin Haney next. And then Lomachenko maybe in the second half of the year can get the winner of that fight possibly. But unless Gervonta Davis gets ordered to fight Kambosos, leaving other options open, I really don't think Lomachenko is going to get the opportunity with Kambosos next, even though he might. He's a back burner option. Not that, he's not a top priority, but I just think because he doesn't have any belts, Kambosos is going to be more interested in the undisputed crown. But that doesn't mean he's not an option, but we have to wait and see. Number 4 would be Devin Haney, the WBC lightweight champ, and I think this is the most likely choice right here. Kambosos has worked with Eddie Hearn in his last 2 fights now, and Devin Haney is with Eddie Hearn in Matchroom, and Devin Haney holds the WBC title, or half of it, whatever you want to look at it, and Kambosos has the WBC franchise, so let's make it all happen. The only thing that I think could throw a monkey wrench into this is if the WBA or the WBO come in and order mandatory fights. It could happen. I think the WBA, now that Gervonta Davis is the regular champion and has decided to stay at lightweight, I think the WBA can decide that and order Kambosos, the super champion, to fight the regular champion Davis next, and that might throw off the showdown between Kambosos and Haney. But we got to see. We got to see what happens there. WB hasn't said anything yet, but we got to wait around and see what goes down with that. Number 5 is Gervonta Davis, and I think he's an option too if the WBA orders this fight to happen next. Kambosos might not have a choice but to fight Davis, which I think he'd be down to do because Davis is a big name. So that fight is definitely a possibility in my opinion. Number 6 is WBC interim champion, or I guess he's still the interim champ, Ryan Garcia. I don't see this one happening next. Garcia's taking most of the year off. Kambosos is more interested in Haney, somebody who has a belt. It's not to say that it's not possible, but I don't think it's likely. I think Garcia's going to come back and fight somebody else first before he directs his attention to Kambosos or whoever the champion is. So I'm not seeing that one. Number 7 is Joseph Diaz Jr. Diaz just lost to Haney. It doesn't make sense for Kambosos to fight Diaz before he would fight Haney, so not seeing that one. Number 8 is Jorge Lanatas, former 3-division world champ. He lost to Haney earlier in the year. Same as Diaz, doesn't make sense for Kambosos to fight Lanatas. Lanatas is trying to climb back in the mix. I think he's fighting some Russian fighter later on this month or in January in an eliminator to try to climb back in the mix, but he's not there yet, so I don't see this fight going down. Number 9 would be Richard Comey. Well, Comey beats Vasily Lomachenko this weekend. You never know what could happen, but I don't think that's going to happen, and so I don't see this fight being remotely possible next. And then rounding out the top 10 are Javier Fortuna and Isaac Cruz. Fortuna lost to Joseph Diaz a few months ago, so I don't think he's an option for Kambosos. And Isaac Cruz just lost to Gervonta Davis. I don't think he's an option. So the likely options, in my opinion, are Devin Haney, I think, is the top option. I think that's the most likely fight to go down. But the other governing bodies have to be okay with that. Because I think the second most likely option is Gervonta Davis, who's in the WBA. And I don't want to say for sure, but I thought Vasily Lomachenko was number 1 at lightweight for the WBO. And I don't know if they would order that fight to happen next. So I think it's going to be one of those 3 options right there. I don't see anybody else being a real option. I think Kambosos, outside of a rematch with Teofimo Lopez if Lopez wanted it, I don't see really there being another option. And especially the Devin Haney fight, because they asked Devin Haney after he beat Joseph Diaz this past weekend, would you go to Australia to fight him? He said he'd go to Jupiter for that fight. So obviously Devin Haney's down to make it. They're with the right promotion. It's the easiest fight to make, and it's the most lucrative fight in terms of undisputed on the line. So, if the fight can be made, I think it will be made, and that's a big time showdown right there. So we'll see what happens, but George Kambosos, biggest one of his career, and he really has another huge fight brewing now against one of the other 3 top dogs at lightweight. I mean, in all reality, you got, he's either going to get Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, Vasily Lomachenko. I mean, I would highly doubt if he fights anybody other than those 3 fighters right there. So just pay attention, see what goes down, but that's the what's next on the undefeated unified lightweight champion of the world, George Kambosos Jr. I hope you guys enjoyed this. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.